I'm channeling Roman. Howdy folks, Nathan Adlin here with the Fast Lane Car, and behind me the 2015 Toyota Sienna SE. Now, why do we have a minivan on our track? I'll tell you why. Because 5 years ago, roughly, we had an opportunity to take a Toyota Sienna SE on a different racetrack. That's right, Toyota let us do it. They asked us to do it. And it handled better than any other minivan we drove. But we never had a chance to really test it. So now we get to actually test it, put our instruments on it, and see what it can do on a racetrack. Why? Because maybe there's a van out there that's a little fun to drive, and that might be it. And that's coming up next. It's cold here. I mean, we do live in Colorado. The good news is, this is hot. I'm just kidding. It's a minivan. I mean, what do you want? Here's the good news. The rims look really good if they were on another color, or if they had another color. And it has new taillights and new headlights, slightly revised grille. Now it's a minivan. But before you guys start cheering with me saying, oh yeah, put it down, it's a minivan. You don't want to be someone in a minivan or whatever. You know what? It actually has a little tiny bit of curb presence, just a little bit. And that's because it's a little bit lower and it looks a little bit more menacing with the big wheels. And frankly, there aren't too many minivans out there that do that. As a matter of fact, I can't think of any sold in North America that have any type of style whatsoever. So kudos to Toyota for trying. Burning the rubber. I really do like some of the V6's Toyota builds. I remember the RAV4 when it had that V6. That thing was a firecracker. Now on this track it wouldn't do very well because it's, you know, high body and all that. But in terms of around town, I was leaving sporty cars in the dust with that thing. It really was quick. Now, we're talking about a vehicle here that weighs well over 2 tons. So horsepower really isn't the deal. It's got enough. It's a question of how beefy are the brakes? How much tire is touching the ground? How good is the suspension? For a minivan, the suspension is damn good. I really think they did a good job dialing this thing in. What you see here is a 266 horsepower V6 that puts out 245 pound-feet of torque. Now, it's a 3.5 liter engine, and Toyota uses the heck out of this engine. It's in a lot of different vehicles. Now, in this particular case, it's hooked up to a 6-speed automatic transmission feeding the front wheels. But you can get an all-wheel drive version of the Toyota Sienna. Now, have they done anything with this engine? With the SE model? No. In fact, that's one of the few things they left alone. The engine and transmission are the same throughout all the vans. It's the suspension and steering that are really different, and these wheels as well. And I'll tell you all about that next. But one more thing you need to know. Combined, 21 miles per gallon. Kind of wish Toyota and some of those other guys would start putting diesels and hybrid power plants in these things. Don't you? Track is cold, and there are some icy spots. Okay, just shifted to third. That was weird. But it was a little bit quicker. But what it did was, I wanted it to go to red line, 9.96. Now remember, that is over a mile above sea level. So it loses an awful lot of horsepower. That's still pretty respectable. Minivan interiors need to be all things to all people. Utilitarian, easy to use, comfortable, and at the same time, not too fussy. But Toyota's managed to take it one step higher by adopting some of the styling from the Toyota Avalon, and that's not a bad thing. They've taken what was a really dreadful looking interior and they've lifted it up a level. This exposed stitching looks great, and the fact that they've covered much of the surface with more expensive, much nicer to touch materials, that's a big plus. The steering wheel, lightly covered, so it's not too thick, but at the same time, it's really very grabby and quite nice. And I really like the positioning of the gear lever. It's for everybody, so if you're very short or very big, very easy to reach, and you don't have to worry about cumbersome places where your knee or arm might hit. Are there any issues? Well, yeah, a couple. My biggest issue is this, and this, and this. This is a plastic that's made to look a little bit like carbon fiber. It's a minivan! Carbon... Okay, I'm cool. But aside from that, if they put piano black in here or any other color, I think that the rest of this would really, really pop. But as it is, the front seats are very comfortable, especially with this leather. They are heated, of course. And, the seating position is excellent. But you never forget that you're in a massive vehicle, a giant hollow box. But that's all minivans, so I'm not going to fault Toyota for that. But if you happen to be driving around and you want to weave in and out of traffic, if you want to, have a little tiny bit of fun, you can do it. It won't kill you. So the main impetus of what this vehicle represents is backseat comfort. And it has it. Boy, does it have it. I got tons of headroom. I got lots of legroom. Check this out. All the way in, all the way out. Once again, all the way in, all the way out. Who needs a rowing machine, right? Back seats are really comfortable too. And this model has a special jump seat that you can remove from the back and put right in between to make this an 8-person vehicle. Very few vehicles out there can hold more than 7. This is something my kids freaked out about when they saw it. Check this out. This is ridiculous. And yes, the entire screen can be used for videos. This area right here behind the third row, 39.1 cubic feet of space. Now, put all the seats down, 150 cubic feet of space. That's more than my college dorm room. This is a good van. It's just too heavy to really get crazy with. Brakes are just really good. That was fun. At the end of the day, are you gonna drive a van like this? God, I hope not. But if you had to, it's nice to know that actually it's gonna handle, right? Any better?
Well, actually, yes.
Second better, 123. Okay. Once again, it's the traction control is still on.
Okay.
So right there at that final corner, everything cut out again. And that was my fault.
Your foot was down.
All the way down. Yeah, but it's a van, and for a big, heavy van that weighs over 2 tons, not too bad.
Nice. Okay.
Okay, guys, this is the sticker. The reason I bring this up is because the Toyota Sienna for 2015 starts at $28,600, but this one, fully loaded, the SE model, is $41,293. Now that is a lot of money, but what you get is everything in the kitchen sink thrown in there, okay? And for a van that is, well, frankly, kind of sort of cool, I'm impressed. That is a reasonable price for that much stuff. It really is a very comfortable ride. And I love the steering feel because, granted, you don't know what the front wheels are doing, but you don't on any car nowadays, it seems. This one, though, at least has a really good weight to it, so it's kind of sporty. And the ride is not bad, even with the beefed up suspension. On the TFL scale, a buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it, I'm giving it a buy it. That is until we get a chance to drive some of these other vans. For instance, the Ford Transit Connect wagon, or the new Kia, or the new Honda. All these vans we need to drive. Am I going to put them on the track? If Roman lets me. For the Fastlane Car, this is Nathan Adlin. Don't forget to go to tflcar.com for news, views, and real-world reviews. Hasta la vista. Bye.